What's up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages? Today I am going to give just my quick thoughts about the Sucker Punch, Ghost of Yote, developer, Charlie Kirk situation. Wow, that's actually kind of a mouthful there. So if you guys don't know, over the last week, basically a game developer, I actually might have been earlier this week, not 100% sure. Timeline's all fucked up because of this whole Charlie Kirk situation. But basically, a game developer out there made a tweet that was, to put it best, very distasteful in regard to Charlie Kirk's assassination. Now, I have made it very clear when I did the Charlie Kirk video, I don't condone political violence of any nature, even if I heavily disagree with the person. So to go out there and make jokes about it when it's so fresh, it's very distasteful, to put it best. So what happened is apparently Sucker Punch or Sony caught wind of the situation and had fired the developer. And I guess some other Sucker Punch developers also liked that tweet. I think a couple of Coalition employees and Bungie employees liked it. And a lot of people seem to be up in arms over this, all right before the game launch. Ghost of Yote launches too. And I'm going to just give my stance on this. First off, like I said, I agree that the developers slash or Sony made the right call by firing this developer because this person absolutely did something distasteful. And when you're on social media, you represent the company you work for, especially when you're dumb enough to post their name in your fucking bio, dipshit. Um, so I agree that's the right decision. Also, I'm just gonna mention this just because some people seem to be out for blood. Some people are saying that if you liked that tweet, you should actually be blacklisted from the industry and a bunch of other things. I That's a step too far for me. Like liking a tweet is not the equivalent of putting out the tweet in my opinion. Just like it's some people like tweets just almost on impulse. Like, some people are probably close with this person, so they like the tweet, or they're coworkers, so they like the tweet because they really read it. Obviously, this sounds like a little bit of cope, and there's some truth to that, but you can't tell me you don't like some people's posts without really thinking about it. Come on, we all have that handful of people that we like their tweets or, Facebook posts, Instagram posts almost like on impulse, right? There's certain content creators that I automatically do that for. So it's like I kind of get it. Like that's just step too far for me. And of course, this is obviously led into talking about activism in video games and developers. And should developers really be activists, or while they're making video games? That's a whole different conversation. That honestly, I think it's way more nuanced than a simple yes or no. I think if I were to put my hat in the ring real quick, my stance on that, I have nothing wrong with activism in video games as long as it's done right. I think a lot of people's problems with activism in video games, it just comes off as very disingenuous, and it comes off as very preachy. Like there's a way to be, get a political message across and not be preachy. But I also think because video games are entertainment, people don't like being preached at. And I get it, because how many times you get to tell, be told violence is bad while you're playing a video game where you're going around freaking shooting people, right? It's like, yeah, kind of contradictory. Sorry, I can't talk worth a shit. But yeah, just like I think being an activist and being a game developer, there's nothing inherently wrong with that. I think it's just sometimes people need to practice something my mother taught me, something my father also taught me, and that's don't put anything out there that you wouldn't say to someone's face or you wouldn't say at a dinner table. Treat social media like you're actually talking to the person, because if you don't, you kind of get lost into like the negativity. You get lost in all the the sweeping emotions. Lately I've been trying to practice that more and more because I ain't gonna lie, I ain't no perfect soul. I've said things on social media, I've said things on live streams, I've said things in general that I'm not proud of. And as I get older, I kind of realize the only one who pays the consequences for my actions is me. So, if I was a developer, I would have gone out and apologized. I would have said, "Hey, my apologies to the Kirk family. I'm, I, I would have gone basically on an apology tour. Not even so much to get my job back or anything, but it's like, because that should just be the right thing to do. Because I think that person crossed the line. Like, why do that? Why make a tweet about someone dying just because you disagree with them politically? I like, I don't think the person is a sociopath. I I hope not, at least, as far as I can tell. Like, when you start thinking it's okay, murder's okay, that's a slippery slope. That's like starting to head into Lord Voldemort territory, whereas some people would call Lord Voldemort the magical Nazi. But yeah, just this whole situation screwed up. I know a lot of people out there, they're saying they're canceling their pre-orders. I'm not. I'm not gonna cancel my pre-order because, one, I'm still very excited for the game. I know some people out there will say, "Oh well, maybe a lot of these game developers felt this way." I'm like, "Oh, cool for them," but they're making a cool looking game, so I'll buy the game. I'm sorry, I'm a consumer. I can't change their way of thinking by not buying a video game. If you think you could do that by not buying a video game, you are very naive. If anything, you'll actually cause them to double down. And I know there's a lot of developers that Sucker Punch probably don't agree with the people, the tweet and everything. So it's like, I'm not going to punish those people for what one person did. That's not fair to the rest of them. That's not fair to me either, because I'm excited for this game. And I'm sorry, I'm a consumer first. I know that sounds so contradictory, but it's like, you know, I'm not gonna sit here and be holier than thou, go on this pedestal saying, "Oh, I will never buy something like this again from this studio because some of their employees made some tweets I don't like." Like, that's not me. Dude, do you know how many fucking people I buy shit from? How many companies you? If you're gonna do that for a video game, you better start doing that for everything. And that's what I'm gonna say here, is that y'all need to preach y'all need to practice what you preach. Okay, so you don't like the activism in video games? Okay, well, stop supporting video games that have those developers. Also, stop supporting Hollywood. Stop going to see the next big blockbuster movies. Stop supporting Amazon. Stop supporting all corporations that have anything to do with like having any kind of political message. So, oh man, Pride Month is gonna be really hard for you guys. It's like, once you start going down that road, it's such a slippery slope. And I'm sorry. I openly admit I'm not a strong-willed person at times, and this is just one of those things I'm not gonna die on a hill of. Like, no, video games are entertainment for me. The worst thing a video game could do is bore me to death. So, that's just my thoughts on this whole thing. Hey, if you don't want to support the game, by all means, don't support it. That's your God-given right. That's your right as a consumer. Just like it's my right to, buy what I want to buy. So let's just agree to disagree on this one. If you're in that other camp. But until next time, guys, let me know how you feel about this whole situation in the comment section below. And until next time, peace out.